gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Turn up the bass. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Turn up the bass. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi. And my co-host this evening is my good friend Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Dickie!
What's going on? Hey, not in my man cave, but still in a man cave. Shout out to @JTuck65, Papa Tuck, giving us time in the man cave while we record the SummerSlam preview podcast. We are just hours. We are counting down the hours until we depart to Cleveland. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I cannot wait either, my friend. This is going to be, I don't even know what number pay-per-view that me and you have attended together, but we definitely are on a good streak. We got a good streak going. It seems like every year, probably for the last 4 years, I think we've attended one together.
Can we rattle off all of the pay-per-views we've been attending? Okay, so you say
Survivor
one, I'll
Series.
say another. Survivor Series,
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell,
WrestleMania,
Nashville SummerSlam,
Detroit SummerSlam,
yeah.
AEW. We had to do some AEW shows together.
And all
Revolution, AEW Revolution. We
Revolution.
did together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've had our
Dynamite. We've done it.
Yeah.
We did the first ever Dynamite in Chicago. Kind of an ass.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Shout out to the Butcher and Blade.
I don't know if there's a way you can turn up your volume. At least on my end, you're kind of quiet over there. But as the rest of the people can see, there is no Ian Garavaglia here right now. He is having issues with his audio. He can't hear us. So obviously, if he can't hear us, we can't talk wrestling with him. But we did get to spend some time all together, which I think was the very first time us three have watched Monday Night Raw together. But it wasn't just us three. It was also your wonderful wife, Mista, and your firstborn child, Augie, who got to experience a little bit of Monday Night Raw, which was nice.
First question, is my mic better?
Great.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So I went in and figured that out. But yeah, I had a great time. It was good for not a lot of like bro time for Augie so far. So it was good for Augie to have a night with the boys. Mista was tending to some things back home via Zoom call. So Augie got some genuine time with Dad and the Buds. It was an electric evening. And today we've been busy. We took him to the splash pad, so he got some water on him, and then took my one of my friends and her son to Crown Point Toys and Collectibles.
Great place.
He ended up with a Bianca Belair Elite, a Cody Rhodes figure, and some wrestling figure tables, so he could start slamming people through them. So we hooked him up with that. He's a big wrestling fan, but it's been a lot of fun.
I love that. And you got to check out the new location, Crown Point Toys and Collectibles. We did actually do a vlog, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, which is still on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It's a local toy shop by us, but they have a pretty solid selection, of wrestling stuff. It's not just WWE, it's AEW as well.
And they got a Britt Baker there for $5. They've got some AEW ones. You probably don't want most of them, but they've got some good deals too. Prices are reasonable. A good selection of new and current, and a lot. I mean, they've got figures in the box from '98 and '99 at reasonable prices. So good selection. At minimum, a stroll down memory lane, looking at some figures and stuff like that. They had a good selection of WWE Funko Pops too for good prices. So it was a good and a much more space. So you can turn around in the aisles now. So that's pleasant.
I was gonna say maybe this time we go back and we shoot another vlog, but with more space and more to explore. But yeah, if we're not partnered or anything with them, we don't even talk to the guys, but. Cheap plug, if you live in Northwest Indiana, head on over to Crown Point Toys and Collectibles if you're looking to get some WWE stuff. But if you're also looking to get more WWE merch, your good friends at the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast got you covered if you use our QR code, our affiliate link to the WWE shop. I'm going to try to find it right here because I'm doing multiple things at once. There it is, right Boom. There on the screen. Scan that. Get yourself some SummerSlam gear for this weekend. Tuck, if you were to get any shirt for free. You said somebody told you pick one. What would it be on the WWE shop right now?
Okay, so this is kind of random, but I would get the Pro Sphere Cody Rhodes long sleeve shirt that is his gimmicked robe. So that's like an easy Halloween kind of. I'm going to a party, but I can wear pants and a t-shirt. The Pro Sphere stuff is a nice material, so it's not just a cotton t-shirt. I've never heard of the brand Pro Sphere, but made a purchase that will make a debut SummerSlam weekend. So check it out.
Stay tuned on all the socials during SummerSlam weekend because we are going to have a lot of fun, a lot of things we are going to be attending. If you didn't hear already, we will be at AIW on Thursday and on Saturday before SummerSlam. And then, of course, on Friday, we will be hitting up GCW, which I shared a memory from 2 years ago of your reaction to Marco Stunt getting flipped. I think it was by Shane Mercer. I think that's his name.
The Iron Demon, Shane Mercer. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great reaction. That was a nice moment right there. And it was AC in the Nashville venue, too.
Yeah, definitely wasn't under the influence of anything. So that's just natural. That's just natural Tucky right there, yeah.
We completely sober all these wrestling weekends. Never had a drink. But let's go to the chat real quick. SCW Steve in the house said, "What's up, dogs? Hope you guys have a blast in Cleveland at SummerSlam. Can't wait to hear your predictions." Eric Douglas is also very excited. He said, "I literally cannot wait." Ian is still down in the studio, and apparently his audio is still not working after restarting the computer. So I think it's safe to say, Tuck, that Ian will not be participating in our SummerSlam predictions.
What a loser. There's got to be a way, even he can hop on from his phone. I'm on an iPad right now with AirPods. So there are ways. We'll see if he can figure it out. Or maybe he hops into the chat and starts. Can he go for an MVM? He's not in the show. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let's get weird.
Would be quite the storyline. As Steve said, that picture on X with you all together was awesome to see. Yeah, and then Owen commented that baby looks like me. I'm wondering if it's just because we have very similar hairstyles. I don't know.
That comment was not on the mark.
Yeah, it was not. And see, Owen's not on the mark. Ian's the one that's on the mark in that family. So makes a lot of sense. Dirk, welcoming you back to NWI. Not going to be here for much longer, though, right? This Thursday's your last day.
Yeah, Mama and baby fly home tomorrow, so I'll make the trek up to the airport with them and see them off, and then I will be awaiting my own personal Uber in one Kyle Gagliardi.
By the way, you still got to send me your Airbnb address so I can actually find where you're at. So
it'll be fun. I can do that. Yeah, that would probably be smart for both of us. Yeah.
Yes. The MVM is in the house. Cage My IQ said, "Hide your kids, hide your wife. It's OTM." And poor Ian, indeed. Yes. Tony's in the house as well. It's a good card for SummerSlam. I got the chance to have a little conversation with Tony at the Hometown Cup in New Carlisle, Indiana this weekend. He said, "You guys will have a heck of a time. In my opinion, one of the most difficult SummerSlams to predict." And Tuck, when I looked up and down the card, that was my immediate thought. I don't know about you.
Yeah, a lot of good.
I see you, Ian. He's putting his thumbs up. I was going to give you a proper introduction. It seems like Ian has figured things out. So Tuck, should we bring him in?
Yeah, fuck him.
All right. There he is. Hey, guys, Ian's here.
Hey, I'm using my headphones from about 2008, and they are working all right. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on with the technical issues today.
For some reason, you're only coming in one ear of mine now. So that's weird. I don't know if it's because of your headphones, but
Yeah, Gags
technology.
usually prefers Ian to come in both ears, so that this will be a new. This will be a new.
Hey,
show.
it is come Tuesday, guys. NXT starts in 15 minutes. We're not even an hour into the show. This is usually content you get at the end of the show. But,
Yeah.
Couple more things to talk about this week, and this week only. If you use promo code SUMMER, you will save 10% off of your order at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. It's not just OTM merch. We actually have a Wrestling Junkies tapestry that you could buy there. And, of course, support the Main Event Network by getting yourself some merch at our website. Follow the Main Event Network at mainevent_net on all of your socials. But, Ian, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for SummerSlam? You won't be joining us in Cleveland, but you get to spectate from your humble abode. How we feeling?
Yeah, it's one of those pay-per-views I am very much looking forward to, and I wish I was with the boys. Very jealous of that. If it wasn't for you guys consistently talking about how much fun you guys are gonna have, it would be a 10 out of 10. But I'm gonna go with a 9.5 out of 10 because like this
Fickle.
You guys were talking about it. This card that we're gonna discuss is jam-packed. We were talking about it last night.
Well, and like the comments said, it is going to be very difficult to predict, too, because we've talked about it in recent weeks. Ever since the Triple H era began, you kind of don't know which direction you're going, and you could see both sides of the coin here in a lot of these matches. But Steve does have a question. I'll ask Tuck from Steve. What match are you most looking forward to at SummerSlam, Tucky?
Can you predict it? Can you predict my most look forward to match?
I think the easy answer is Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, but you're going to zig while everybody else zags. So I'm going to say that you're most looking forward to Damian Priest and Gunther.
Everything you just said was correct.
I know you.
Yeah,
I know you.
Yeah.
Why are you so excited for that?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and the Seth Rollins of it all. But this unique interest in Gunther and Damian Priest because of how well both of them have done to build a match seemingly. Again, the match is supposed to happen because Gunther won King of the Ring.
Right.
And so sometimes when you have matches like that, there isn't a built-in build because X, Y, Z, right? And AEW does a lot of that where they'll do a tournament to find a guy, they'll do a scramble or a battle royal to get to the next title match. And I think that's one of the things that AEW lacks. But like we talked about 2 shows ago, Gunther makes me feel a little empathetic towards Damian Priest, which adds value into the match. And with both guys, because it has Gunther in it, you put the banger stamp on it straight away. So this is going to be critical for Damian Priest, win or lose. And then also he has some redemption with some of the spots that happened in the last match with the kick out, non-kick out, the 3 count. And so could redeem himself, could further cement his legacy as a champion. And we'll certainly talk about that. And then, the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre match kind of writes itself.
Ian, would that be your answer, the match you're most looking forward to? You got a different one.
I mean, I'm about the same with Punk and McIntyre. That's probably my honest answer, but I'm going to give probably my second favorite, probably be Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. There's
That's
a lot
fair.
of like unknowns that I'm looking forward to see if they even challenge with this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a straight up match. But it's the questions that you ask along with the match which really intrigues me. Not just the match results. I mean, cool, awesome. It's more of okay, who's going to come out during this? Like with Solo and Cody, we don't know if somebody's going to come out during that. That's what makes it that next step of okay, we need to watch this to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Matthew has a fantasy booking question. Matthew, that requires me to do a lot of thinking right now. Maybe we'll put a pin in it and we'll address that on social media for you. So it is a good question, though.
And that is something that the chat can mess around with too. If Uncle Howdy was in AEW and created the Wyatt Six there, what 5 underutilized AEW wrestlers will be perfect in the faction and their funhouse characters? Very interesting. You could almost do a whole show on that itself, and that could be a button towards the end of the show. But what a great question! Thank you for joining us, Matthew.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And don't forget, if this is your first time, give us a like, give us a subscription, because we are live every week on Thursdays typically. Tonight, obviously, it's going to be Tuesday because we will be leaving on Thursday to head to Cleveland. Our MVM says Priest has stepped up his worth the last 6 weeks. I think we all would agree with that.
And I don't think he's stepped up in the grand scheme of things, but Gunther has brought it out of him. I mean, we talked about it during the one show after. It was one of their first really, really good promos back and forth where they showed their human side. And that was the moment that I think Priest kind of branched out of his whatever he wanted for his character at the beginning. I had no idea what it was, but now we're getting some depth into it. And like I said, it brings another edge to the story, which I think is going to help him win or lose.
Is that an Edge pun since Edge started the Judgment Day?
Yes, 100%. I meant that.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Yeah,
there's
nailed
your
it.
answer for the
Yeah.
White Six. Edge,
That's it.
Adam Copeland. He was the spooky guy for a little bit. Great answer from Steve to answer Matthew's fantasy question. Abaddon would absolutely play the role of Abby the Witch. Yeah, that's a good answer. But yeah, guys, we still haven't even got to the card. So I say we definitely get there. Give our predictions. Tuck, do we have a Google form quite yet, or are we still working on it?
We will tomorrow. That is my tomorrow morning plan. bit.ly/OTM SummerSlam 24 probably. But yeah, we will post all that out, and that's Wednesday. So that's actually a day earlier than we normally send predictions.
Right.
So we'll be crushing it. So look out for that tomorrow.
I know the good Doc Tony is the OTM PLE champion. So, Tony, if you're still watching, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that link so you can try and defend your title at SummerSlam. But speaking of defending titles at SummerSlam, let's get into it with the Intercontinental Championship match between the champ himself, Sami Zayn, taking on Bron Breakker. Now, Tuck, when we talked about Money in the Bank, a lot of people were kind of under the assumption that Bron Breakker was going to get the win there. He did not. Here you go. He's got a rematch here at SummerSlam. Is now the time that Bron Breakker walks away with the Intercontinental Championship?
Yes.
You don't
I don't
confident.
know. No, this is one of my least confident ones, given that a lot of people were so into him winning it then. He didn't win it. It hasn't been that long since Money in the Bank, really. So I am going to go with Bron. Least confident pick. One of many great matches on the card.
Yeah, and there were high expectations, Ian, for their match at Money in the Bank, which I think we kind of just had too high of expectations for, because Money in the Bank match, it wasn't bad by any means. I thought it still delivered, but I think this is where they're really going to show out, get the time to perform. With all that being said, though, who's walking away with the title?
Looking at the card, it's going to sound wild. This is one of my more confident picks, and I'm still not confident about this pick. So that just explains this card. I said it last PLE. I was like, if he doesn't win it, I don't know what they're doing. And that's such a dumb comment. That's a Mark comment right there. But they know what they're doing, and if Bron doesn't win this one, I don't know what they're doing. I'm going to stick to it. I like what the storyline they're going with, though, where Sami's kind of getting a little bit more confidence now. He's starting to strut his stuff just a little bit on Raw. Bron is still doing his thing and attacking, which is the normal Bron. I like to see the side of him. So maybe he gets the upside on this one and they go to a match 3 somewhere?
Well, if they were to have a match 3, it would have to probably be at Bash at the Berlin. But like Cage My IQ is saying, I kind of see where he's going with this, that Sami and Jey Uso might be tagging in the near future and going after those tag belts. It seems like they've kind of hinted towards that on Monday Night Raw. And just the way that Bron Breakker has been presented ever since he got to the main roster has been spectacular, in my opinion, other than the loss at Money in the Bank. But like you said, there's always a greater plan at play in the WWE, and that being a bigger stage at SummerSlam. So I definitely think Braun Breaker is going to walk away with the IC title here. And then maybe like what Steve's saying, you can have Braun face Ilya in Berlin for the Intercontinental Championship, which I know a lot of people want to see Ilya versus Gunther, maybe for the World Heavyweight title. But it seems like now people are starting to flip the switch and think that Damian Priest could beat Gunther. But we will get to that match much later. Yeah. I'm going with Braun Breaker to become the new Intercontinental Champion, which means a clean sweep for the boys. Is that correct?
Sweep.
What does Sami do if he does lose? I think it's the tag option.
And Sami could always talk his way back up. We've seen him. It's not like he would get buried from this. Maybe Braun attacks him after he wins the title and really pushes for that match number 3. I like the Bash to the Berlin idea. Maybe that's when you involve Ilya, make it a triple threat. You got a lot of options with this one. Obviously Sami's not going to lose his steam from losing. He's not going to get buried.
He's just one of those guys that's just going to be okay. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses. Doc says, I'd be surprised if Breaker didn't get the rub here. I still have a belief that Breaker could be the IC champ and eventually challenge for the world title at the same time. It's definitely a possibility. He's going to be a main eventer very soon. And like Cage My IQ also said, Zayn has storylines on his side. He's got a lot of connections out there. And the T-shirt that Tuck's wearing is one of the big ones for sure. Let's move on then to this match for the United States Championship. We got the megastar LA Knight, taking on the man that's only defended his United States Championship 2 times, Logan Paul. And this reign has been over 200 days, I believe, which is crazy to think of. And he's only defended it twice. Here will be number 3 in his home city of Cleveland, Ohio, Ian. Does that factor in to your decision here for who's going to win this match, or is now the time for LA Knight to finally get that defining moment?
Now is the time for LA Knight to get the defining moment. Stated it perfectly. I kind of hope that Logan Paul comes out in like a Browns jersey or something and continues to get booed, because I think that would be a hilarious visual. Or obviously he'll come out and
wear a Steelers jersey.
Yeah, or a Steelers jersey. That would be hilarious too. So.
Yes, it will.
This has got LA Knight written all over it. Give him his reign. See what he can do with a title in the main roster.
Yeah, there's been a lot of opportunities in the past year for LA Knight to have that definitive, defining moment in the WWE. He really hasn't gotten it yet. Yeah, you could say winning the Battle Royal last year at SummerSlam was something. It was, but...
Yeah, but it didn't lead to anything. Like, we thought at SummerSlam last year when he won that, we're like, okay... Now he's going to pop off, and it didn't lead to anything. And now, like, pretty critical here for LA Knight to get the win.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Because if he doesn't win here, why should we care about LA Knight? Like, honestly, he keeps getting to the big matches, and if he keeps losing them, why should I be emotionally invested into that character? And I agree with Tino. He said this should be the most obvious win. LA Knight. I think Logan takes a little break or maybe moves on to a different story. But it seems like Steve is going to ruin our hopes and dreams. He says, sorry to say, Logan is retaining. He has a homecoming on SmackDown, which Knight will most likely spoil. 50-50 booking can see Logan win with a screwy finish. Knight to win the title in a rematch.
I don't think
Steve, I don't like that. Oh, we don't need that. I'm going with LA Knight to win here, guys. I'll be packing my LA Knight shirt. Be wearing it in Cleveland this weekend because I definitely think he needs it. He deserves it. And let's see what he can do when he's actually a champion. Tuck, what are we thinking here?
Is LA Knight going to win the United States title?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I hope Steve is dead wrong, with all the respect in the world. Logan Paul is Logan Paul. He doesn't need a title. He hasn't defended the title. LA Knight, he needs to go to work. So I'm going LA Knight as well. Looking forward to it. Is LA Knight the shirt you're wearing to SummerSlam?
No.
Johnny Gargano?
Nope. CM Punk. I got my CM Punk shorts and my CM Punk shirt. I'm all black.
Fitted. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm going in, brother. I'm here with my straight edge brother from Chicago for sure. Doc says, only twice? Good Lord, I didn't realize that. Yeah, it's time for a change. I think everybody can agree. But Steve says, sorry, guys, got to go with my feelings on picks, even if they're not popular. Steve, we know you want LA Knight to win. We just know your brain is a lot smarter than ours. So you're probably right, but I hope you're not. And Cage My IQ says Logan needs to upgrade after dropping that title. Does he mean to send up the card? You think he should be in the main event?
He's a mid-card guy, but he makes the most of it. Like, I love Logan Paul as a wrestler. Like, it's just, this title is more suited for Knight at this point. If it was anybody else, I could see Logan retaining. It's just, LA Knight needs a title.
He's running into the megastar. Simple as that. And I like Logan Paul, too. I think he's great, but we did have him in the main event scene against Roman at the Saudi show. I just don't think he needs to permanently be there. I think he's a good guy to have around the mid-card to help elevate those guys that are trying to get to the main event scene. So 2 matches, 2 sweeps for the OTM crew. Let's see if we can make it 3 here with the Women's Championship. The champion Liv Morgan taking on Rhea Ripley. Ian talked about how excited he was for this one. I'm also excited because of all the possibilities that can come of it. But I think what is going to happen is probably the most obvious and predictable outcome. But I think it's the one that needs to happen. I see Dominic eventually siding with Liv Morgan, them doing their heel thing together, and Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest kind of going off on their own. And this is where we see the end, pretty much, of the Judgment Day faction here this Saturday at SummerSlam. I think we eventually got to have another match between these two. I don't think it's just going to be a one and done. Rhea gets it back, and then we're done with the feud. That's boring. I think we need to prolong this feud a little bit more. I also don't see anybody else on Monday Night Raw that's ready to jump into that title scene, unless Charlotte were to come back or something like that and go to Monday Night Raw, sure. But I think we need to keep this thing going. The only way to do that is to keep the divide between Rhea and Dom, because we know he said he's still siding with Mommy here. I don't buy it for 1 second. I'm going with Liv Morgan to retain her title here, Tucky.
And if you look at Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley on paper, no strings attached. I think it's Rhea almost in a squash match maybe. But I think Dom is going to help, intend to help Rhea some way, but end up helping Liv, making it look weird. I'm going with a Liv retain as well, and that is weird for me to say.
And it's kind of like what Steve was saying, too, but not on purpose. Dom's going to cost Rhea, but unintentionally. Ian, what are you thinking here?
I mean, originally I wanted to differ from you guys because I feel like that's the common answer now. And I think that's I would completely agree with that prediction, just to prolong the story. Now I'm looking at all the title matches that we're predicting and the title victories that we're predicting changes. I'm going to also go with a retain from Liv. I don't know if... I kind of like more on the side of Dom not switching sides quite yet. I think they have more story to tell with both of the women there. Yeah. I think they did a lot of storytelling so far with Liv just there with Dom and kind of the when is Rhea going to come back. And now I think they're just brushing the surface of what they could do with Liv and Rhea. So I'm going to say Dom stays with Rhea, but Liv retains. I don't know how they get there.
Well, kind of like what Steve was saying, maybe an accidental costing of the title or something along those lines. Cage My IQ has an interesting one here because we do know the history between the two, and she hasn't been on television in a while. He said Liv Morgan retains with help from Raquel Rodriguez, and apparently Raquel has been posting pictures of Liv on social media. I mean, that would be quite the curveball. It would make sense. I just don't know if that's the direction we go when she's not even in this feud currently.
If Raquel is the only return, are you happy?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No. Let's not put that out there, Tuck. No disrespect to Raquel. I think she's a solid wrestler. I know Ryan Vogus would disagree with that.
He's going to be happy that the lat spread's back, I'll tell you that.
Oh, gosh.
Get the flexing going. Doc says, shenanigans are sure to follow here. This isn't the end of the feud. Ripley won't win yet, but will eventually. I agree with Tony there. As for Dom, I wouldn't rule Finn out from siding with Liv. I agree. I've been saying it. Finn Balor, keep your eyes on him. Anything else, though, from this one, guys? Are we ready to move on?
Ready to move on?
Moving.
Let's move on to another world title match. A lot of singles matches on this card. This one for the World Heavyweight Championship, the match that Tuck is looking forward to the most, is the match that he gets to predict first. So, Tuck, what are we thinking here? El Campeon versus King General.
This one's tough. Just because I'm looking forward to it the most doesn't mean I've got it figured out. I think it makes sense for Priest to retain. You have that same argument with Gunther in a world title match, like Bron in the Intercontinental title match at Money in the Bank. Gunther's the king of the ring, so you have arguments there. Man, if I have to go, gun to my head to pick again, official picks will be submitted on the Google form for our predictions contest. And for those trying to take the strap off of Tony, a tie with Tony is a retain. So we have to beat him clean.
Yep.
And prior to submitting the Google form, I'm going with the Damian Priest retain.
So if that's the case, what's Priest's match at Bash at the Berlin? Is it a rematch against Gunther?
And then Gunther wins. Nailed it.
That's where I'm confused. It's like, do you want Gunther to go into Bash at the Berlin as champion, or do you want him to have that moment in Berlin? I think that's really what it comes down to here, Ian. What are your thoughts on this one?
Man, yeah, it's... I really wish you did not say that, Tuck, because I was going to try to baffle the audience by saying a Priest retain. And again, now we already have the 2 title changes. We still have so many matches left.
Your mind's in a blender, brother.
It's bad right now. I'm going to go with the retain as well. No, I'm not. I'm going with the Gunther title win. They got to do something with this King of the Ring because it hasn't really done anything in the past, in the recent past, like come to anything in the future. So let's have Gunther take advantage of the King of the Ring win, take the title, going into Bash at the Berlin as a hero.
Okay, that is something. Steve says Priest to win this match without Judgment Day interference. However, Gunther's shoulder is up the same way Gunther won King of the Ring. That way they can do the rematch at Berlin. Okay, Steve, that makes a lot of sense. But, man, I really want Gunther to win this match. And that's not taking anything away from Damian Priest because we've been talking about his praises for the last couple weeks on this show on how much he's improved in becoming that babyface champion. But, man, if Finn Balor doesn't get involved in the Liv Morgan-Rhea Ripley match, he's definitely getting involved in this. You know, we didn't see it this week because I believe they actually saved one another after a post-match beatdown, Priest and Balor. So maybe they're wanting us to think that everything's good between those guys. There's no friction whatsoever. So this is the moment where Finn Balor backstabs Damian Priest. Gunther becomes the World Heavyweight Champion, walking into Berlin with the title. As, you know, like Ian said, being the hero's welcome as the champion. You said it well, too. He won King of the Ring. They really haven't done much with that King of the Ring gimmick in the past. Have that person win in his very first shot at that title. Give me Gunther to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm putting that at like a 51% chance.
Same.
I think I'm buying a Gunther shirt. I don't have a Gunther shirt.
Does he have any good ones out there?
There's a lot with his face on them. I want the Ring General scripty one. I like that one. I don't know if that's real, though.
I haven't seen a comment, though. What if Ludwig Kaiser got involved here? We haven't seen him in a bit.
Oh, yeah. What
if he costed Gunther? Yeah, he got injured.
Oh.
It's just another thing to think about. There are so many possibilities that could come out of this card. Like, so many people can get involved. Tony says, I was sold on Gunther, but I think he could get the title in Berlin. So it seems like majority of the chat is actually going with Priest to retain, which I think if you would have asked the chat a couple weeks ago, Tuck, everybody would have been saying Gunther.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I also, as soon as it was Priest and Gunther, I was like, well, it's Gunther for sure. Yeah. And again, I've praised Gunther the whole time, but I think they like Priest. And I think they're trying to build him a little bit.
Well, he's got a show on Friday. Like, he's literally doing I think it's stand-up, or is it just like a Q&A or something like that?
So they're premiering the WWE original doc of Damian Priest. So it's a live premiere with the Q&A with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Tony asks, curious what your thoughts on who's the face and who's the heel here, because I see both having heel tendencies, and WWE rarely runs heel versus heel matchups. I think we all would probably agree that Priest is probably internally still a heel, but in a slow burn into becoming a babyface. So
I feel like they've worked to present him as the babyface with how hard Gunther's went in on him. Yeah.
Ian, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe it's just building towards what side he's going to be under in the Judgment Day split. Maybe when that becomes a war at some point, he'll be on the more babyface side.
Dude, just think about how much like the Judgment Day was just on Monday Night Raw. Like Monday Night Raw last night was just Judgment Day.
It's been like that for
the whole
months.
Story is just taking up the 3-hour show. That's how important it is. And like Steve said, so true. I was Gunther all the way until like a week ago because of Judgment Day storyline more than the match itself, which everybody's starting to convince me now that Gunther's not going to win. But I will not stand for it, but I will stand for the Ring General at Cleveland Brown Stadium with my hands behind my back, because that's what I do. I stand for the Ring General, and he will become World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam. Book it.
Okay, book it.
Priest has been acting like a face
like
lately
that.
on the live events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that cage my IQ, so let's move on here. We finally differed on a match, which is good. We like that when we have 3 more matches to talk about. Another one that could go either way, guys. Bayley taking on Nia Jax, who won Queen of the Ring to earn this opportunity. But the wrinkle that you have to remember is that Tiffany Stratton has missed Money in the Bank, and she has been hanging out a lot with Nia Jax, kind of being friends on the television screen, but who knows what could be going on behind the scenes. Ian, another difficult one to predict. Where's your head at here for this one?
All right. I completely forgot about this match, which not great, but I do like what Nia Jax has been doing recently. I think she's really gotten into her character more, which is nice. It's a great feeling to see. I am going to basically change my answer. I'm going to put Priest to retain when we get to the sheet there. And I'm going to have Nia Jax as new champion here. And I would like to see Nia Jax with that belt over her shoulder with Tiffany Stratton being her friend with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Bayley's reign hasn't been good. I think we could agree on that. I don't think that's a...
Hasn't been strong.
Yeah, she was left off TV for a while, and I don't know if that's just bad luck or whatever. We kind of outran this Bayley run. I think you got to take advantage of Nia Jax because she got pushed hard. When she was first introduced to the main roster, she was pushed down our throats, which no one liked it when we were supposed to like her. Now that she's finally turned that heel switch, it's starting to click with me, at least. I feel it's real. And when you have Tiffany Stratton with the briefcase, let's not do just a normal cash-in. Let's have her kind of entice Nia, saying, hey, I'm right here. I'm still your friend. I'm never going to cash on you.
So you don't want the cash-in immediately if Nia were to win?
Nope. Let that play out on SmackDown.
That's fair. I like that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Tony says, BBL Bayley. She isn't losing that title just yet. After that comment by Nia, WWE can make money on that. They could. To be fair, I didn't know what BBL Bayley meant, so I asked the Wrestling Junkies, and they let me know.
And when they let you know, what did they tell you?
I kind of forgot, but I don't know if I want to say it. I think it's big booty something.
Latina,
okay. As a Latina woman? That's an inside joke. Steve says, Nia winning with Tiffany teasing the cash-in could be fun. I agree with Steve there. Have a feeling Charlotte will return to defend Bayley at the end of this match. Give me that. We just sent out our top 5 favorites of all time. Charlotte is in my top 5. By the way, if you didn't see that list,
the queen.
I'm so out on that intro. So out.
Yeah. Now, new intro would not be out of the cards. She's been off long enough.
Yeah,
new theme.
True. Yeah. That one was a new theme though. Like she just got that new theme.
Well, here's another idea. How about a new theme? Let's get weird.
Another one from Def Rebel. Everybody will love it.
No.
Stratton, no cash in yet, Tony says, especially after the briefcase getting destroyed, which is a good point. The bedazzled briefcase has to be coming, yes, for sure. And I think we all would agree with Cage My IQ. He said the end game is Tiffany cashing in on Nia Jax. And I'm going to agree with Ian and the chat. I also am going to go with Nia Jax, and agreed with you, Ian, when you said that Bayley's run hasn't been the best. I don't think that's Bayley's fault whatsoever. They just put a lot of time and attention into those Queen of the Ring matches for the past couple months to where Bayley didn't get the chance to even cut promos. Like, you couldn't have at least given us a vignette, a backstage segment with the champ or something like that. She hasn't been done right by this run. Nia Jax is hot right now. Give her the title. And like you guys said, the teasing of Tiffany in the briefcase would be money. I'm going with Nia Jax to become the new champ, Tuck.
Deal. I'm also going with Nia Jax as well, just because the Bayley run has not been the hottest. Playing the hot hand. I'm going Nia Jax too.
It's a good point from Steve too. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. He said with amounts of babyfaces in SmackDown Women's Division, a heel champion makes a lot of sense. We all agree.
We don't have a lot of true heels in the women's division right now. Besides, I guess Liv, but I don't even think she's a true heel.
Like, Tiffany's not even a true heel because people chant Tiffy time.
Yeah.
No,
People love Tiffany.
She's over like Rover, dude.
Yeah, there's not a lot of true heels. You're right, Ian. And then Tony says, so I actually think Nia was implying Bayley had a Brazilian butt lift. BBL. Who knows? We don't know. And like Cage My IQ said to Tuck's point, Bron has had like 8 new themes.
Oh my gosh.
Every week he gets a new one. It's pretty exciting. Maybe that should be his gimmick. Just every week's a new one. What do you think?
That would be exhausting, but I'm out.
Yeah. Eric said I wouldn't mind Tiffany not even cashing in on Nia, maybe on Roxanne or Kalani Jordan. Tiffany doesn't need to go back down to NXT.
Nope.
She's too big,
I think so.
Yeah. It would be cool, but yeah. And definitely I don't want to see Tiffany cash in on SummerSlam. We just saw Io do it last year. Correct. We don't need another women's cash in at SummerSlam. Steve said she has carried around the current case with tape around it. Hilarious. New Barbie pink briefcase incoming soon. And Tony says, safe to say this is the match with the least heat on the card.
Yeah?
The least like
least buzz.
Ian forgot it was on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The least hype
That's what
going
he's
in.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say there is heat for Nia Jax, but I would agree then if that's the case. It's definitely... And what's crazy, I think you would put Cody and Solo maybe in the bottom 2. At least I would.
Like we said, it's a really, really good card. Like, it's not taken away from the match. It's just...
No. We're going to have a good time. And Ian, you're going to be there, right?
I'm going to have a good time here.
We're going to have a good time discussing this one, the match that most people are looking forward to the most. CM Punk taking on Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth frickin' Rollins. This will be the first one-on-one televised match for CM Punk in the WWE in a little over 10 years, which is crazy to think about. Ian was, I believe, 12 years old the last time CM Punk wrestled in the WWE on TV, which is crazy to think about. But, guys, we obviously know the story behind this. It's been a long-going battle between these two guys, even when CM Punk was injured. It's culminating here for their first match of what I believe to be a trilogy here at SummerSlam with Seth Rollins, who is going to be probably not an impartial referee here. I think he's probably going to be against CM Punk for the most part. We saw in that opening promo on Monday Night Raw that Drew McIntyre was kind of getting in Seth's ear, which was interesting. But Ian, with all that being said, where's your head at here for this one? Because you can definitely make a case for both of these guys to pick up the win here.
So where I kind of stand with it, I honestly didn't even realize just for how long Punk's been in the company back. Like, he hasn't had a match yet, which is wild, besides like live shows, but that is extremely wild. Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, I think you could throw either guy as a champion here, or not champion, but as a winner here out of this match, and it's not going to ruin anything. In my mind, I would like to see Drew win that because I feel like he's been the biggest loser of this feud, obviously, with all the chances that CM Punk is spoiled. I'm going to go with Drew to win this, just so he has that one up. But I have talked about it before. I would love to see Seth Rollins have a heel turn at the end of the show, or at the end of this match. I don't know if this is the main event or not.
Right.
Maybe the opener. Curb stomp to CM Punk when he's down after Drew wins. Drew's already out of the ring. Walks out, doesn't acknowledge a crowd, lets the booze rain in, and he just walks out. I think that would be just what Seth needs, because I think he's still getting a lot of hate. Like when he came out in the ref gear.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think it's sure it fits his character, but it's still like, it's still strange to see in this blood feud in the middle of it, but why not take advantage of kind of the hate that he's getting, which is pretty much undeserved, but that's my perfect scenario. That's what I would like to see.
So yeah, it's more of a fantasy booking than a confident prediction.
Drew is probably my confident pick. I think he needs a win more. I get it. It's CM Punk's first match back. Win would be huge, but at the same time, Drew could say, I beat Punk when he came back to the ring.
Yeah, and that's where I'm stuck with this match, is because it is Punk's first match. Are they really going to have CM Punk lose his first match back in the WWE? I really don't know, but the comment that we're seeing a lot, and it's not just Steve and everybody else in the comments on our show, I've been seeing it elsewhere on social media, is that SummerSlam 97 style finish where they did have a special guest referee, and I believe it was with Bret Hart, and I'm forgetting who the other counterpart was. I still haven't got a chance to check it out yet, but I think there's going to be some shenanigans here. This isn't going to be a clean win by any means, especially with Seth Rollins as that special guest referee. But originally, Ian, I was in agreement with you. I thought Drew McIntyre needed to get this win. But the only way to get more hate out of Drew McIntyre is for him to get screwed again. And the only way for him to get his lick back at Bad Blood is if he loses here at SummerSlam. So the way I'm seeing this is that CM Punk gets into Rollins' face. He's pissed off about the way Rollins is officiating this match. Rollins has had enough of Punk's shit. He tries to throw a punch, a kick at CM Punk. Punk dodges that. Drew McIntyre gets hit by Seth Rollins, and Seth ends up accidentally costing Drew McIntyre this match, leading to a rematch down the road at Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell. I think CM Punk comes away with the victory here at SummerSlam. Once again, it's a 50-50 shot for me personally, but that's the one I'm going with. Maybe it's just because I'm wearing his gear to the show and I'm going with Punk. That's why. Maybe. But Tuck, I am going with the best in the world, CM Punk, in this one. What about you?
I am also going with CM Punk to win because I just love the Drew McIntyre gets fucked over storyline.
Yeah.
Because every time you think Drew's going to win, something happens. And I think this is another way to continue that Drew spiral character. Wouldn't be surprised if it was flipped. But I'm going CM Punk to win as well. I think Drew gets screwed out of a win in some shape or fashion. Does Seth Rollins do the exact same halted 2 count that CM Punk did on Drew?
I think he should. Because didn't he say it's eventually going to get his lick back or something along those lines? Like, Rollins said he's got something coming for him. This would be the perfect time to do that payback right there and then. Agree with Tony, and Tony agrees with me. The exact prediction, the exact match at Bad Blood. And I agree with him when he said, just don't get hurt, Punk. Yeah. I think we all would like to reiterate that point. Steve said Seth to accidentally cost Punk the match, Drew to win, Punk to continue feud with Drew until Bad Blood, and then start feuding with Rollins for WrestleMania, which is what I think you're thinking kind of along those lines, right, Ian?
Yeah, I'm playing Seth and CM Punk in the long game, which is why my prediction for Seth turning heel is kind of a fantasy booking. Yeah. 'Cause I think that could happen further down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Tuck, could you see there being potentially a three-way triple threat in the Hell in a Cell match?
Well, I think there's money in putting the 3 into a match, and applaud WWE for not making this one the triple threat. So I'm interested to see how it goes. Wouldn't be surprised.
I am surprised they didn't actually put Rollins on the card, but having him
as Vince McMahon's not in charge. Like he's not overthinking it. Triple H is like, we're giving them what they want. Seth has a meaningful role in this match and at SummerSlam. And then there's so many directions you can go from here, which is why I've really enjoyed WWE as of late. There's just so many different avenues.
Yep, a lot of layers to their stories as well. Temple agrees with what everybody else is thinking. Summer 97 match and finish all over this. But it seems like a lot of people think that Drew McIntyre is going to benefit from the screw over there. Tony says, I still want a heel Punk. It's the best version of his character, but doesn't seem like we get that for a long time. I don't think you need it this soon. Like he's got to have that babyface run. Everybody's happy to have him back, and then maybe eventually he turns. But how many more years does he got left, guys?
That's what I was gonna guess. I don't think we ever get it because
we might not get it, Tuck.
Yeah. I have trouble investing in CM Punk with his injury history as of late. So
that's a fair critique. Right there.
Let's get to stable footing. Prayers for Punk.
Excitement levels. Temple's tuning in a little late. We're at a 10 because we're going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but, no.
9.5 for me.
Okay. I didn't say it this time. You're the one that at least said it. Robbie's in the house. He said, hey, guys, hope you're all well. Just popped by to say hope you enjoy your awesome weekends. Have a great time, and let's go CM Punk. See, I knew I liked Robbie. That's a good guy.
Shout out, Robbie.
Shout out to Robbie Collins. We got one more match to talk about, guys. I'm assuming it's going to be the main event just in case there is post-match shenanigans.
Uh-oh.
First off, I don't think we need to get into deep conversation about the winner here. We're all on the same page, correct?
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes
solo by a
retained.
landslide squash.
Tuck, give me your reaction in the stands if Solo Sikoa wins that match right now.
It depends on how many Rumble Lemonades deep I'm in. If Solo Sikoa wins this match, very strong chance I am thunderstorming to the merch booth to buy 3 Solo shirts for the Indiana boys in attendance.
Just use our QR code.
Yeah, use our QR code.
You guys take QR codes? It's for the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
That's what we should do. We should just print out QR codes and just hold them up in the crowd. Actually, it would be genius.
Would be pretty funny.
Wait. Speaking of QR codes, Tuck, what do you got over there?
Right over here is a QR code for the WWE shop. And if you go there, patrons and friends, attendees of the show, we get a little kickback. So jumpstart the SummerSlam fund at minimum. Maybe get a tank of gas going for gags.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I might put my Venmo out there, and if the wrestling fan wants to help me pay for gas, I got a 5-hour drive with my boy Tucky to Cleveland on Thursday morning. But
and to be clear, I will be I am not a slouch in the gas department. So let's just make it abundantly clear that you and I have a great debt relationship.
We pay right away.
We are a straight zero friendship, as I prefer all friendships to be. Not easy for some.
You got that right.
I'm actually still waiting on Ian to pay for his Rumble lottery 2 years ago. So we're waiting on that.
Ian, what the fuck? 2 years ago.
What was that? Oh,
you didn't pay, Biggin.
Yep,
yeah,
I got you.
That's it.
So everybody's asking questions about who is going to appear. Don't worry, because I knew we weren't going to spend time talking about who's winning. We're all going with Cody Rhodes to retain.
Cody, but how, what happens, and ifs. Yeah.
Correct. But the and ifs being returns, because like everybody knows, SummerSlam always has a return or two. Literally 2 years ago to this day was when Bayley returned, confronted Bianca Belair, and was joined by Io Sky and Dakota Kai, and Damage Control was created there and then. You had, what did we have last year? Just cash in? We didn't have a return, right?
Oh, there had to have been a return last year.
I don't think there was a return last year. You got Becky Lynch in 2021 at SummerSlam. So big names are rumored out there. You got Jimmy Uso, who's been off TV for a bit, Paul Heyman. But the big one being the tribal chief, not Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns. So Ian, how confident are you that we not only just get a return of like a Jimmy Uso, but what are the odds we see Roman Reigns?
I don't think we see Roman yet. I don't think it's time yet. There's still more characters. We still have to sort out the Jay situation. Still have to sort out the Jimmy situation. I would like to see like the new Band of Brothers come, or the old bloodline kind of reunite before Roman does or says anything. Maybe Paul Heyman. That would be nice.
Then I think Paul Heyman's going to need somebody with him if he returns, though.
Yeah. Maybe he brings back Jay. That's the way to get back Jay. But
you mean Jimmy?
Or Jimmy.
Yeah.
Man, I just don't know because Roman seems like the kind of guy that he's that guy in the story where you have to call him, like literally, like Paul Heyman, call him when things get
Roman
really
Reigns.
bad. Yeah. Maybe we have a new band come back together. We have a face Jimmy come back. They try to take out the bloodline themselves. Then it's like, okay, we can't do this alone. Let's actually bring in the real firepower in Roman. That's kind of where my mind goes a little bit towards.
Yeah.
I don't think it's... I would love to see an all-out, like, Endgame, Avengers Endgame thing where everybody comes in at the last second, but I don't think we see that this weekend. I think it's a little too early for that. We got to get a little closer to Mania.
Well, I also think you need to spread out the big moments as well because SummerSlam as a whole, like we've talked about just from the card, just looking up and down, you really don't absolutely need a return on that PLE for it to be an amazing show because those matches are probably going to deliver. And Temple says Drew McIntyre comes out in the match, and on his gear it says Crimea River Punk. That would be fun. Tribute to the scapegoat.
Let's just move back. Get away from it.
Jimmy Uso made a return last year.
Yeah, when you were on your phone, Steve had that comment. We pulled it up. I didn't want to interrupt you.
All right, Steve.
I just realized the QR code's there, so if nobody used that QR code, that was an extended period, you're a loser. You should have used it. But, yeah, let's go to the comments here real quick. There's a lot of them coming in. Sorry, I can't keep up with all of them. Against Roman in the Tribal Combat is when Jimmy...
All right, Steve.
I know Cody said he didn't want any help, but I could see the Usos helping him here. I don't think Reigns will necessarily help Rhodes. More or less, he will just come to stare down the new bloodline. Yeah. Let me say this loud and clear for you folks. You guys are the ones hyping up Roman's return. WWE has done nothing to insinuate that Roman Reigns is coming back. So if Roman doesn't return at SummerSlam, don't go crying on the internet because you're just being a mark. They are not telling you he is returning. So don't expect it. I don't expect Roman to return. That way, if he does, I'm like, holy shit, it's Roman fucking Reigns. That's how you guys should all approach this. It's a lot more fun. Trust me. With all that being said, my IQ might be right. Maybe we get Jimmy on Friday. I definitely think we're getting Jimmy of some sorts, whether it's Friday on SmackDown or it's SummerSlam. If I'm fantasy booking, I bring back everybody. I bring back Jimmy. I bring back The Rock. I debut Hikuleo, which people aren't really talking about because Hikuleo did sign with the WWE. I think that might be the most likely scenario here, especially if Jimmy and Jay come out to save Cody after he retains and is getting his ass beat. But Tuck, I got to ask you, what returns are you expecting or hoping for here?
I would love a Roman return. Confidence isn't super high. Again, there haven't been many breadcrumbs in many directions. The Charlotte Flair return would be outstanding. Is Alexa Bliss anywhere factored in? Because she's been gone forever. Yeah. Like, is that something that factors into the Nia Jax Bayley thing? That could make it weird. That gives that a different layer.
Alexa has history with Nia.
I don't see it really coming back into play with the Liv and Rhea stuff because that has so many layers to that onion already.
Or the Wyatt Six.
That could be a fun one, potentially. But yeah, other than that, I mean, what the bloodline of it all? You know, I don't consider Paul Heyman a striking return unless Paul Heyman is with Roman. Paul Heyman being there makes sense. He's Mr. WWE. But, we'll see. Jimmy makes a lot of sense, too. Hikuleo. But Hikuleo could also debut at Bash in Berlin because that's the overseas kind of random debut. That's like what they did it with Solo, and it's like debuting the rookie in the MLB on the road, like not in front of the home fans, you know? So we'll see. I don't know.
I mean, just talking about it gets me even more excited for the possibilities of who's going to show up at SummerSlam. Let's see what our comment section has to say, and then we will conclude this episode. Cody beats Solo with the help of Jimmy. The rest of the Bloodline attack Cody and Jimmy and cue Roman's theme. We get Jay on SmackDown Friday following SummerSlam. Yeah, Temple, I could definitely see it. Steve says, I hope Roman returns and needs to rebuild his old relationships with the OG Bloodline. Everyone turned on him through his actions. Such a great story can be told, getting everyone back over time. It's a good shout, wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting seeing what Roman's persona is going to be like on his way back. Is it going to be the same, or is it going to be, like trying to cut loose ends and bringing those ties back? Because it's going to be like a lot of mistrust, which is going to be cool. That's my most exciting part to see. Yeah,
I mean, he's got to do damage control. No pun intended there. So, well, it'll be fun to see if he does return what happens. But we got a few more comments here. I kind of agree with Ian. Could see Reigns not coming back until he's needed for War Games, which seems to be what a lot of people think. Hello, Mother. Sorry we didn't get to your comment earlier. There's a lot of comments. Good to see you, Mom. Hope you're feeling better, because she has not been feeling well. At the end of this, Roman gives Sami his shirt back, and Roman and Owens become friends. We have a story for War Games. That would be a great story. You do Cody versus Randy at War Games. Solo, God, Jacob, and Hikuleo versus Roman, the Usos, Zayn, Owens, and War Games. What do you think about that, Tuck?
That's a lot. And I'm just Roman Usos. Yeah, I'm in. That's at War Games. That's what I'm kind of looking for. There was just a lot of names. Yeah, I'm in.
Remember, Jimmy was taken out by Tama as well. Yeah, Cage My IQ connecting the dots for sure. Cage My IQ, the reigning defending MVM, by the way, which Tuck, please cast your vote in the private chat real quick if you have a second. We got to decide who's going to be winning MVM very soon. It looks like Steve agrees with Cage. He said, I'd like Jimmy to return on Friday. And just a lot of comments here involving the Bloodline. I love to see the excitement in this story because it has been a story they have invested a lot of time into. But all that being said, we are going with Cody Rhodes to defeat Solo Sikoa, which will conclude our SummerSlam predictions, which then takes us to everyone's favorite part of the episode to find out who is the MVM of OTM. And Tuck, if they don't know what the MVM is, why don't you give them a little background on it?
Ladies and gentlemen, the MVM stands for Most Valuable Mark. We award a title weekly. The Jace, more prestigious than the 24/7 title, certainly more prestigious than the Speed title, certainly more prestigious than the Arbos Cheese Dip Championship that was defended at the Black Label Pro Old Habits Die Screaming event. The Most Valuable Mark. It's not always about quantity. It is often about quality as well. So we, as we're participating and going through the podcast, those that chime in and keep the ball rolling with us, not for us, but with us, deserve special recognition. And for that, we crowned the Most Valuable Mark, the MVM.
I gotta say, I'm very disappointed in you two, because the MVM has to be here for the long haul, and you guys want to give it to somebody that showed up at the very end for the main event. I'm just saying, I like the guy. He provided some good comments to the chat, but this is not my MVM. Hashtag not my MVM, but we do have a brand new MVM. Oh, wait, hold on. Last second cash in. We have to change things here. The deciding vote, hold on 1 second. This is, I can't even do it on my own. Hold on. Somebody talk. All right, or nobody talk. And new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Steve from the SCW Wrestling Channel. Congratulations.
That was crazy how that went. I can't believe all the drama in the chat there. Unbelievable.
You guys, you can't do this to me last second like that.
I didn't do anything. I stuck to my guns. I will just throw it out there. Temple Plays was my MVM. That was my vote. He gave him crap. Gag gave him crap for coming in 40 minutes late. However, he had my most entertaining. I came in late too, so that probably is why there's some correlation there to my vote. But he gave some quality comments and had me intrigued. So, I mean, congrats congrats.
There was a lot of contenders, by the way. There was a very active chat, and that just goes to show you how excited people are.
And when we first started the MVM, it was kind of like the only person who kind of watched the show the whole time. And now, realistically,
it's so true.
And now we are getting to a place where we look forward to these podcasts, not to just see each other and the three of us, but to spend time with the community. I mean, when you think about relationships we formed, 5 years ago, you made your post. 5 years ago, a couple days ago, about
today.
Was it today?
It came up on my memories. 5 years ago today, I stepped away from my previous podcast. The greatest decision I've ever made in my life.
And so over 5 years, we've been able to establish relationships and bonds in the chats, in the comment sections, especially on social media. I mean, we're going to Cleveland not just to spend time with the three of us, but to also connect with the wrestling junkies from the Main Event Wrestling Network. And it's one of the best parts of the job. You know, getting to spend time with Steve and Robbie and Kine and the great Bron Hope and Cage My IQ and Temple. And so these people, and we even had Matthew chime in today, and hopefully Matthew will join us next week as well. It's just been a lot of fun. Dirk is a gamer. He shows up, week in and week out. And for us, I think that's one of the best parts to do it, because there's nothing keeping us from the three of us hanging out and just talking wrestling. But to do it in front of people and to do it in a live venue the way we do it, it's just a lot of fun. So the MVM is something that used to kind of be a shoo-in just for hanging out with 2 or 3 turds for an hour. And now because now we can run a show without a script and just say, what do we want to talk about? And the chat will carry for an hour. And that's been a lot of fun.
These shows would be very boring without the chat. Not very boring. They would be.
I would make an outline to make it interesting.
They wouldn't be an hour every single week. That is for sure.
No, they would not. It would probably be about a 30 to 45-minute episode, which wouldn't be bad. But it seems like we transitioned from just being an audio-only podcast at the beginning. Like Tuck said, wasn't getting a lot of traction. But once he made the physical move to go to Nevada, we had to pivot. We went to the live streams, and it has been an excellent decision. So if you want to keep this OTM family growing, share it with a friend. Give us a like on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there, because we, I believe, are only a little under 60 away from 400 subscribers on YouTube. Let's get to that milestone very soon. We would greatly appreciate it, guys. But Ian, do you have any final remarks before we sign off?
I will say it again, and this will be the last time I say it. I am extremely jealous. You guys are going to have a blast this weekend.
There are still tickets available for Summerslam.
That ain't happening.
All right.
You guys better be sending me pictures, and I'm sure they will be posted on Twitter. So you guys have a blast this weekend, and tell the junkies and my dad I said hi.
Yeah, hashtag main event moves are happening in Cleveland. So make sure you're following the main event crew at mainevent_net on all the socials. I'm sure there's going to be TikToks, definitely going to be some tweets, definitely going to be some pics shared, because we are doing a lot in Cleveland. And if you want to get yourself some new WWE shop merchandise for SummerSlam, why don't you use the QR code that's going to pop up in the corner of that screen right by Jim Tucker right now. All the proceeds that we make off of that click go directly into the production of this show. It's the same thing as our website for our merchandise at the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. If you use code
.com, baby.
I know. I was going to say code, but the code is what, Tuck?
Summer.
Good job. Yeah. You got it. I thought you were going to fuck it up. You know it's at the bottom of the ticker, right?
Yeah, whatever. That's fine.
Does anybody ever read my ticker?
It kind of blends in on the StreamYard for me, and my eyes just don't look at it anymore.
No, I'm like talking to the audience. Does anybody read my ticker? I put a lot of hard work into that, guys. There's a lot that goes in behind the scenes. But anyways, Tucky, why don't you send us home? We are mere less than 48 hours away from heading to Cleveland.
In 48 hours, our asses will be in seats at an AIW show, hopefully 7 to 14 beers deep already. What? Let's get weird. And I'm looking forward to it. Shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday. A great SummerSlam card in front of us that will lead us to further PLEs of the same respect, and it's going to be electric. Make sure you follow the Main Event Wrestling Network. Make sure on the markwrestlingpodcast.com for your merch needs, enter code SUMMER for 10% off. Make sure you hit that QR code up on the WWE shop, and make sure you hit that affiliate link so we get all that goodies. Oh, and I'm just looking forward to it. Again, appreciate the community that is building and joining us week in and week out, even if we switch it from a Thursday to a come Tuesday. Y'all are great. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.